the round of applause, and for everybody, just again, welcome Coach Hall here to 7th and Elm.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate everybody that came out, and especially 7th and Elm. It's wonderful.
Talk about becoming a head coach and taking over the program here at Indiana State.
Well, you know, it's been kind of a whirlwind for sure. From April 1st on, I don't think my feet have really hit the ground. We just keep running. We've done a great job in recruiting. We've been working with our team and really just having to start from scratch. And, you know, it's been a process, and it will continue to be a process. I know everybody's here is ready and wanting some success, and success early. It's going to be a process.
Mm-hmm. And anytime you walk into a situation, there's always going to be some of that's going to take time to get, I know, ingrained in the players, kind of what some of your core philosophies are and the ways you want to go about things at both ends.
Well, definitely, because, you know, one of the things, we talked about this with our players today in practice. I get upset over a couple different things, and there aren't very many. One is effort. If you don't give me effort, I'm not here to coach effort, you know, and so we better bring the effort, and they're not used to that. 2, I also focus. We've got to bring focus to what we're doing, and we're not used to that either. So those are things that we've been working on consistently, and just have to kind of retrain them as to, you know, how hard to play. And now they're starting to play harder, but now we need it longer. You know, we've turned the corner where we've got a couple of quarters going, but we haven't been able to get a whole game yet. So it's going to be a process, but you know what? I'm not one that gives up easily.
You talk about effort and focus. I know about your playing career, and that, to me, that's got to come from that back when you played and some of those things.
Well, definitely. I mean, I was always known as a tough-nosed, hard worker, and you know, I was pretty athletic, but not as much as some of the other people I played against, like Cynthia Cooper, Teresa Edwards, who can run, and Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, to name a few. But I always worked really hard, and just kind of used my basketball IQ in order to keep me in the game.
You mentioned taking over the program earlier, starting with April 1st. You've been a player, you've been an assistant coach, first time at the Division I level as a head coach. What have you learned about yourself over this period, and what have you learned about the job that might have been a little different than what you were expecting?
Well, you know, I've never been a very patient person. And so I've had to really grow in the patience category. Because it's what this team needs. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I work on every day with them, because they need to learn a lot of the basics, you know, back to the basics, just the fundamental of, we talked today about how to punch a gap against a zone. You know, we didn't know that. So these are things that I'm having to put in place, and we have an old group.
Yeah. Do you enjoy the teaching aspect of it?
I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love it. That's what, I mean, I have such a high passion for this game. This is the love of my life, is basketball. It always has been, probably always will be. And I just love to coach it. I love to teach it. I loved to play it. And so it's just kind of in my blood.
And I know one of the things, you get a lot of help. Let's talk maybe a little bit about your staff, your assistant coaches. All are new, I believe, to Terre Haute and to the program. So talk a little bit about each staff member that you've put together and trying to get that group to get these girls to grow.
Oh, definitely. You know, Roman Tubner, he came to our program, and he's our recruiting coordinator and has done a wonderful job. He was the first one on our staff and has really hit the ground running. I mean, we have 7 commitments, which is phenomenal. Yeah. And not only are they commitments, but they're very good quality players that are going to come in, and I think everyone will be really excited about them here in Terre Haute. Not only is he great in recruiting, but he's very good on the court and in individual development, which is very important to me, especially when you're at this level. You've got to be able to develop players. So that was something that I really looked for when I was looking at coaches. So he's done a tremendous job. I'm so very excited about him, and I know our whole crew love him. We have Quasi Timmons, who she actually was a teammate of mine, and she she played in the WNBA as well, and she's kind of like the mother hen of the crew and has done a very good job as far as, different things in academics, on court, and works with our posts and does a lot of things on our defensive side. So she's been a great addition and works very hard, in recruiting as well. Everybody on our staff works hard in recruiting, period, and in development. Luke Scheidecker, he just came to us, and he's done a great job. He's a little diamond in the rough, and I'm so excited about him. He has a great knowledge of the game, X and O wise. He does a good job of developing people, and he just has a no nonsense work ethic that I really appreciate.
And I can tell that's very much one of the things you want in your program. Is it very straightforward, very direct, very no nonsense?
Well, that's who I am in a nutshell. I don't really candy coat a whole lot, and I just feel like that's the way I like to be communicated with, and that's the way I'm going to communicate with others too.
Indiana State with their season opener on the road November 7th against Marshall. We'll come back, talk about where the team is picked, talk about some of the players on the roster. We'll take our first time out. This is the Vicki Hall Show, presented by 7th and Elm and Terre Haute Savings Bank from Sycamore Athletic.
This is Vicki Hall, head coach of your Indiana State women's basketball team. You're listening to the home of Sycamore Athletics, WIBQ 97.9 FM.
And welcome back to 7th and Elm Bar and Grill. This is the Vicki Hall Show here tonight. First one here, then we'll be on tape the next 2 weeks because the team will be on the road, traveling, getting set for ball games. Back here with Coach Hall November 19th at 7th and Elm, but we will be on tape the next 2 weeks on the radio on WIBQ. And Coach, I know a new community, getting involved in the community, something that's very important to you. Talk a little bit about the We Care program you guys have started.
Well, first of all, even the back of Sycamore, that we started that a little while ago, about 2 months ago. And back of Sycamore is where individuals or families that want a back of Sycamore of our program, a player, if they donate $750, they'll get a chair back and be an honorary coach and have a T-shirt that talks about how they back a Sycamore. And we actually sold that out. Really excited, so grateful to all those that have wanted to be a part of that and are doing that. We're starting a new campaign called We Care, Terre Haute Proud and Indiana State Strong, and that's for the small businesses here in Terre Haute that really would like to get behind us, and it's the same kind of idea, and that they will have their business on the video board, and just be a part of what we're doing. It's very exciting. I know it's going to be a change. I know it's going to take some time, but I've had such a great outpour from the community, and my goal is to grow this thing back to what it was.
Indiana State in the preseason, talk a little bit about the poll, where you're picked, and kind of that's more a reflection on where a team finished a year ago than this year in many cases.
Yes, definitely. They picked us 7th. I think it's fair. I think we do have a lot of seniors on our team, but our seniors, if you look at it, they don't have a lot of experience. And so I think that's, had been taken into account. We lost our second and third leading scorer and our best rebounder. So, we took a hit. But you know what? We're going to try to build it back for what we've got and do the best we can with what we have. And, the one thing we've got to do is just play hard. And I just continually talk about it. And it's just consistency to compete. We're not used to consistently compete. And so this is the goal of this year is we're from tip to end. We've got to compete. And so that's where we are.
Yeah. Indiana State gets set for Marshall on November 7th. That's their season opener. As you look to the roster, Ashley O'Neal, the leading scorer from a year ago, returns. Talk about some of those returners and some of their skill sets that you've seen that you've been impressed with.
Well, Ashley, she's a little dynamic point guard on our team. She has the ability to do a lot of different things. She could score in different levels. when she decides to, she could really be a factor on the defensive end of the court. But when I said when she decides to, so that's part of the thing that we've got to get her to do, is do that all the time, because we need that consistency. We need consistency in scoring and being efficient with our ability in our field goal percentage. So we're constantly working on that. So she's been working on that, getting into the gym. Tierra Webb has been working on that, getting into the gym, getting up shots. She's going to be somebody that we'll look to get up and down the court and kind of push the tempo and get to the rim. Lex Delgado, she's done a good job here, just trying to figure out all the new things and figuring out how to be a point guard, because we don't really have a lot of them on our roster. And so she's done a great job as well. And when she's got her confidence going, she can be a threat from the field. So we just got to get that in motion. We've got Kiera Isaiah. She's got a great motor. She's a senior that has a great motor. She just needs to kind of slow down a little bit sometimes, because she gets a little bit ahead of herself. But you can never question her work ethic. So I'm very happy about that. We just got to make sure we're all on the same page as far as, when we're running stuff. Because we need to have structure and discipline in what we're doing on both sides of the ball. And they're not really used to having that structure. So this is what, we're having to really work on. We got Mava, and she's done a good job of getting into the gym and doing some things and working on her shot. And then we brought in T. Lee. Tamara Lee, and she played at Wichita State. She's a definite player that can stretch the defense, and that's what we really needed. She's got a little chip that I enjoy, just being competitive.
You have talked a lot about. No, you're
Did
doing
I forget
good.
anybody? I don't.
Maybe Ty Battle.
Ty Battle. Oh, Reagan Wentland. How could I forget good old Reagan? Reagan did it. She actually had a pretty good performance the other night when we've had a couple scrimmages. She's been on the boards and done some great things. She's kind of started to formulate herself a bit of a leader on our team. And she just does a lot of the dirty work that I really, really appreciate, and has a great attitude all the time. I don't have that in front of me, so I need a cheat sheet.
Ty Battle?
Ty Battle. She has, she's grown in this program since April 1st. It's just about how to work and working hard, and doing, like I keep saying, consistently. And then embracing contact. We've had to really talk about embracing contact, because nobody really wanted to get down and dirty. And in order to win a game, you've got to get down and dirty. We got to rebound the ball. We've got to be able to defend and do things that aren't always fun.
We're going to take our final timeout. We'll come back, wrap things up. This is the Vicki Hall Show here from 7th and Elm Bar and Grill.
This is Vicki Hall, head coach of your Indiana State women's basketball team. You're listening to the home of Sycamore Athletics, WIBQ 97.9 FM.
And welcome back to 7th and Elm Bar and Grill, the Coach Vicki Hall Show here tonight, as the Sycamores just about 10 days away from opening their season at Marshall. I know that you've got a really big recruiting class coming in next year, but we're able to fill in some spots this year with some freshmen for this team as well.
Well, yeah, we have. And, first I'll talk about Janara Flowers. She came to us from Michigan. She's been working diligently on getting better and trying to kind of figure out the whole change. So she's struggled a little bit with that, but will continue to work hard, I know, because she's a great young lady. We've got Deja Smith, she's an incredible talent, not used to playing hard. So we're having to figure that out and understand defense. So we're working really hard on that, and she'll do her thing. She just needs some time to kind of acclimate as a freshman. We've got Ana Valero Lopez, who she came to us from Spain. She also has had a pretty big transition. She's actually only 17 years old. Will turn 18 in December, so, a younger one. Yeah. So she's had to figure out how it is and the newness of everything. And then we've got Lynn Tamas, who came to us from the Netherlands. And she's done a really good job. She's actually kind of acclimated, probably the best so far.
And with younger players, I know it's an adjustment playing the speed at this level and the intensity with which you've got to play.
Definitely. It's kind of been, they're kind of like a little deer in headlights. You know, we've had a couple little scrimmage games, and they were a little scared. But we're going to get over that, and we're going to keep working with them. And, I think the future is bright. So I'm really excited about the future. A couple players that we didn't mention was Crystal Rice. She's a combo guard that brings some really good shooting to us. And then we have AJ. She does a good job, and kind of like a tweener player who can score in a couple different ways.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you visiting with us here tonight, and I know we're going to be back with you here November 19th as you have a couple of road trips coming up. Welcome to Terre Haute, and best of luck this season.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for coming, and thank you, 7th and Elm. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We'll be back with you November 12th with Coach Lansing here, November 19th with both coaches. Both shows on tape next week. That's going to wrap it up. You've been listening to the Coach Hall Show, presented by 7th and Elm and Terre Haute Savings Bank.